Inspired. I'm inspired. I have one listener who good morning. I wasn't going to watch Trump last night, but it was on every channel. I'm sure with 286 channels or better, that was an exaggeration. However, they continue on. I'm sure glad I did. I thought it was great. One more day. I thought it was great. End of thought. One more day of good weather before the next storm. Don't forget Ash Wednesday. This is today, right? Looking forward to you know I appreciate when folks will text in and call in 307-460-3087, the Talk Shop line in Studio 255. And I appreciate when all of you interact. I love phone calls to the studio. I appreciate the opportunity to interact with you. And this platform is available to each and every one of you. And I guarantee you, your public comment is wanted on the Talk Shop. Now, that being said, a focal point this morning. Did you listen to the Trump speech last night? Normally, it's a State of the Union address. It's about 6 weeks into the administration.
See what's going on,
at this time,
what's happening, all that.
Kind of an update, but you hardly need a State of the Union address when it's on media, analyzed here and there and everywhere. As this text said, it's on every channel. Yeah. And it truly might not be on every channel, but it's on a lot of them.
I don't have TV.
You know, you have probably made one of the most peaceful decisions in your life, conducive to reaching 125 years of age. Yeah. And that single act alone. Yeah. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, don't have TV. I'll
this is the cowboy today. Code, so we're within parameters by talking about some value-driven observations.
Yeah, no TV.
Go radio.
Yeah, very little media. Yeah, I did not.
The power of theater of the mind.
Yeah, and I'll look today a little bit. And
you have a little TV device it's larger. It's about 5 times larger than one of the original Sony televisions that were about 5-inch by 10-inch total.
I have a story.
Please share me the story. I'm getting coffee while you get the story rolling.
About the phone. So it's maybe been 10 years ago, 12 years, maybe longer than that. That there was a company called Mastery TV, and they had a vision that all the everything would be on media and phones. So I got involved with that company, and no thanks, I'm good. And I got involved with that company before YouTube, before all that. And holy moly, were we close. They ran out of funding. And then everything else took over, so I missed my $1 million deal. Yeah, I missed my $1 million deal, so that was a bummer. But I was close. The story of my life, always close. But I keep hanging in there, so that's good. The Cowboy Code, where are we at with freedom, and where are we at with humanity and what's going on out there? Have you been paying attention? A little bit?
Well, most of my life we've had no peace in the Middle East. I guess people call for kindness, but we don't listen to one another. I'm not sure that by and large we even want to hear what others have to say. We're not, we call for treat others the way you want to be treated. Last night, Well, let me talk about something positive first.
Yeah.
Turn your story into business gold.
Oh, that's good.
A nice read by local author Leslie Capps, and I've enjoyed the test that I've done, which is to say, um, you turn this book right here,
Yeah.
this one,
Yeah.
this one right here, and you turn this book to any page. I challenged myself again this day. Take key takeaways. You turn yourself to any page in this book, whatever number of pages it is. It's a fast read, 201 pages. But I turn randomly to page 55, and you just read the bold highlighted top of sentence, bottom of sentence kind of deal. And here's a key takeaway from page 55. Lead with empathy and value, and reframe your pitch. Now, if you only read those two lines,
Yeah.
I love the positivism that turning your story into business gold brings about, what it calls for. And it's the ultimate guide to stories that sell, subtitled by Leslie Capps. Leslie Capps took her story to the Oscars this past week.
Yeah.
And has returned to Laramie, and we look forward to opportunity in the talk shop to hear all about it. We followed it. Meeting agenda, on which I'm removing it from the video display, replacing it with Business Gold by Leslie Capps, so that I can give you some highlights. You know, there was $223,000 in every meeting, potentially. Please be mindful. Know where your taxes are being invested or squandered. And raise your hand. Speak. I want to which in terms of public comment, I want to make one observation, having attended both the Albany County Commissioners meeting yesterday and the City Council meeting yesterday evening. The 9:30 a.m. observation that I have with regard to leadership. Outstanding opening invitation for public comment. I love that.
To get information from everybody.
To get the word from the public.
Yeah.
And I loved it in that, in contrast to our City of Laramie City Council meetings led by Mayor Sharon Cumby effort, which is giving at least 3 times as much pause than former Mayor Brian Harrington in terms of call for public comment. I mean, it's a blatant contrast to, I believe, a group that genuinely wants to hear public comment.
Yeah.
And one that says they want public comment, indicates transparency is important. But last night, public comment denied. How to conduct a meeting. And I'm not sure that the public shouldn't beware and be aware of the inner workings of each body, representing them, each one of us. I'm gonna say all of us. 2, 3, and that might have been faster than what Commissioner Jones did. I give all credit to that. As an elected body, I like knowing that my elected representatives genuinely care to hear what we have to say. Now, we fell out of that in the commissioners' meeting. Item by item, the city council actually, I think, usually does a more pronounced effort calling for public comment though they may not give a lot of time to online visiting and so forth. I think that that's probably happening with county commissioners, though I don't have the same observation there. I need to get a closer seat in the county commissioners meeting, but you get there after a radio show as soon as you can, and it happens the way it happens. But in public comment, I don't ever want to. I just do not believe it's the spirit of best representation by our elected officials to not take public comment. Virtually any juncture where so few of 30,000 in our community are actually participating, I find it very challenging to find good cause to deny hearing somebody out.
Yeah.
And many times you only get 3 minutes to speak anyway.
Yeah.
And even if you're organized in it, you can be cut off if they don't like what they hear, or somebody deems it necessary to. That's an advanced model for recognizing a public's view. Now, when you table something and you have a vote on that, before you have the vote, it's my understanding you should call for public comment on that. In the case of the city of Laramie, that's not the case last night. And in that regard, check out a couple things from last night's meeting. I'd encourage you to tune in about 1 hour 28 the 128 mark, where budget is completed, some budget adjustments to the 2025-26 budget numbers. Some shock, but I loved hearing that our community government was actually holding a developer, a contractor, they were holding their feet to the fire. There was going to be a penalty as provided in a provision in the contract for completion of a project. It went over that time, and there was damages. The damages were X amount per day or for the period. So there's actually one initiative where the city was going to, with the penalty, not only pay for the work that remained to be done, but you were going to essentially make money potentially out of that, it looked like. Now, I didn't have all the numbers in front of me. The slides are too far away for me to see. So unless I print out the 147 page plus packet for that particular meeting point, you might miss it, or whatever. But you can at least review it. Know where to review it. If you would like, we're going to make this our Pizza for Professionals topic of the month here in March, and we're yet to set the date, but in one prior, we did February 21st, we did Pizza for Professionals, and we had 6 or 7 in attendance for that noon to 1 o'clock event. But we're going to do that again, and perhaps somewhere around the 21st or the week of the 21st, third week in March, we'll do that again. So maybe St. Patrick's Day, March 17th coming up. Maybe that's going to be a Monday. Perhaps that Friday we'll do this deal. But if you would like to orient yourself to maybe how to prepare to follow our county commissioners, our city council work, or follow the agenda, find your way around, we'll set up a computer display. We'll set that up in Studio 255, and we'll give some orientation to something that might be overwhelming to you. And in our effort to have public awareness expanded in our community, we'll take this additional step, and I hope that others will join us. And Kevin, what do you have with respect to public comment? Does it matter? Does it matter that you get heard on issues at various times or consistently. Does that matter?
Yeah, a pattern that just a pattern too that you take
Predictability,
in,
is that an important feature? Am I asking too much?
the meetings that we run or go to has input from anybody, so it's hard for me not to have input from the people that are there. So I don't understand it. I really don't. Hey, one thing I want to talk about too is the 11th of April.
Lieutenant Colonel Alan West will be in Laramie for a Together We Can speaking engagement.
Yeah.
This is a dinner, silent auction, door prizes. More than $1,500 in door prizes will be given away at this event, 6 p.m. at the Laramie Elks Lodge, Lodge 582, 103 North 3rd Street, or 113, 103, something like that. You can't miss it. It's right across from the newly purchased Cowboy Saloon and Dance Hall. Congratulations to Trinity and Trevor Thatcher. New owners.
They're excited,
and I'm excited for the Hopkins family. Also gaining in this transaction as they are passing the baton. They're passing the baton to the new owners, Trinity and Trevor Thatcher. So I wish all parties greatest of happiness in what they're doing.
Yeah, Cowboy Bar. They're excited. They're doing a little remodel, a little cleanup, and doing some neat things to it. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I enjoyed yesterday. This got shared with me. I don't know if others saw it, but yesterday was a special day actually in our world. It's the only day in the year that tells you to do something. March 4th.
Yeah.
March 4th. I love creative people. And I was not the creator of this piece, but I shared it widely. And I would encourage you, share positive, share kindness, share it widely.
When we look at what's going on around our country, around the world, around the country, and what's going on, every business has to look at their books. They have to know their numbers or they don't make the business. This day and age, the government is trying to do the same thing with, was it hot? What are you saying? Terrible.
It's very strong for this one. I need some dilution.
Good.
Who made this?
Yeah, good job. Everybody, there's consequences to everybody's actions. And throughout time, we've always known that had a feeling, didn't know that the government was maybe slow. If you got the government in charge, then it's going to take forever to get done. Things are starting to change, and they're digging into every little bit of it. Is that good or bad? I think for financial, it's good. How to spend our money on a big scale. What's government waste? How's it going? How many people are getting paid from the government that don't even exist? How many people
Like they're dead?
Dead?
Were never born even?
Well, there's it's a mess, and I find that interesting too. That every day, new information's coming out on what we didn't know and where our money went. Our tax dollars, the stuff that we're getting taxed on and overtaxed and on, is where that money's headed. It's a tough situation anytime when you're in a business when your books don't match up or there's problems, there's layoffs, there's not enough money coming in to pay whatever, right? And so it's I think that it's good that we're able to see this now, that where that money's going and what it's going to, how the systems are working, and what needs to be cut out of the systems in order to be productive country and protect the kids for the future. The amount of money that they're finding and has been wasted on other countries and programs and stuff is amazing, out of control. Go back to the Cowboy Code and think about how that relates to take care of the people around you and to be kind. Manage the money like it's your money, not their money, and to do diligence with any dollar that you spend away from our country. It's
calling the question seems really important.
Yeah.
By the public.
Why are people mad at that? Why are people mad because they want to hold our government their feet to the fire and say, "Like, what's going on here? Why are people getting mad about that?" Now, if you lose your job, that sucks.
I don't think anybody wants anyone to lose the job.
No.
One of the things considered in the county commissioners meeting yesterday at the 9:30 to noon meeting was the discussion about 25% tax reduction considerations for the upcoming budget period. And Kayla White, the Albany County Clerk, requested direction with respect to goals of the commissioners on the upcoming budget, given that there was going to be some effect from the reduction.
Oh yeah.
Be it 25% or 50% or whatever, there's going to be a reduction, and so there was much discussion about that. But one party in attendance brought up to me following the meeting that it's great to have goals. Shouldn't every leader consider, if I had to prioritize my top 5 opportunities or areas for a consideration of reduction, what might I suggest? And whether you put people first or last in that consideration for cuts, as an administrator, as an elected official, I only expect that you would speak to your considerations and you be accountable for your thoughts and what trafficked your determination. What did you deliberate on? And I think that there was diligence in that request of Kayla White to the county commissioners, and them in response, they were very I think they were very apt in saying, want to be ready, we need to start and be ready for that. So I'm really I can't I can't have anything to challenge with respect to that, except for that I do think that you have to give some consideration to all aspects, 360-degree view.
Sure.
And that means consideration of staffing, workload for staffing, facility, so many priorities, what you have to do by law.
What's the population of Laramie right now? 30,000.
Estimate 30,000. I don't know if that's. It seems long to me.
What was it 20 years ago?
Seems bigger to me. Roughly the same. I mean, it's not substantially changed since I came here in 1987.
How many people were in our government 20 years ago?
Well, I know in the city planning department there was essentially a director,
Jerry and crew,
and an assistant. That was it.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, whether it's right or wrong, is what has really grown over the past 20 years in Laramie. And if you look at it, our government has grown. So
Times change.
they've
Inflation happens.
they've
Come on,
made,
Kevin.
yeah, they made more jobs, more job openings, and maybe it's well needed. But the thing about that is that in order for them to keep everything going, our taxes, they have to pay for that government. Is that the way that we need to go? Is that the way that we have to go? Or is there different ways to look at that and keep the taxpayers' money in their pocket? That's what I scratch my head about. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that we need to think about how the working components of each individual company works and how that makes it.
I tune into what you said a little bit just a minute ago about maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. I would like to be a citizen that after I attend meetings, my questions are answered. I don't have doubts about what's going through the minds of our elected representatives. I don't have doubts about what's going through our minds of our staff, our city staff, our county staff. I think that is reasonable. And asking questions or calling the question seems to be prudent as we the people. And I don't understand why it's not welcome either. You know, and time and place certainly can be a part of something, but last night when Planning Department Representative Philip Gabathuller spoke, he opened conversation regarding a billboard, non-conforming billboard. I'll read it exactly. It's item 19 on yesterday's agenda, original ordinance number 2102, amending Laramie City Municipal Code, Title 1522.22 to permit modifications to non-conforming billboards. A little bit of background: Laramie has 5 designated billboards according to the city planning department. And that would be one on Grand, down about Taco John's area, and in that block thereof city, and then the 4 others on essentially 3rd Street. Now, if you take,
is it the Welcome to Laramie?
Well, it's more than it's not the Welcome to Laramie signage. It's let's call the Welcome to Laramie signage more indicative of the maybe the approved style, the approved signage going forward. The master plan going back to 2009. Ordinances were changed in 2009, making what we have something that was recognized as not in the vision for that particular city council group's idea of what Laramie should look like going forward. Now, they grandfathered at that time these 5 billboards.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to be the size they are, be the lighted feature that they are, be whatever they are by structure. They even had parameters in there where they're allowed to rebuild it if they like. And the topic came up of 60 years, so the question came, we could have this for 60 years forward. Gabathuller affirmed that statement. That question was legitimate, and therefore we might never be without billboards completely in the city. Well, it occurs to me as you read the language of the ordinance modifications as suggested by Lamar Advertising in consultation with the planning department, who essentially, suffice it to say, they were not in favor. Staff recommendation was to deny the modification, because to do so would be to backtrack on the vision. Now this is a different tact than I've observed from the planning department. In prior topics, they've had no problem changing course of direction with respect to master plans, and in that regard, I just know that with respect to one aspect that Gabathuller brought up was that if you do this, you're regressing. And not only do you regress, but you might open the door for a resurgence of signage populating our city limits, inside our city limits. And that, I think that's a wise observation by the planning department. What do you want? Do you want billboards, or do you not want billboards? Do you support business, or do you? There was one question: how do we, essentially, how do we terminate this business? Was actually, I'll go back and transcribe the actual statement as they were made, but the impression is that, you mean if we wanted to get rid of billboards in our city limits, there's nothing we could do. Well, the city attorney raised his hand and clarified that they were grandfathered for a reason, and that's a property right. That's a valuable interest to that business operating. It seemed that there was actually sentiment on the council member side, whether it was in the majority or not. It was at least asked for clarification that would indicate that they don't want that. They don't want that 60-year period. So within the course of 1 year, I've observed a 2042 parking lease being requested for abatement and being considered by the city council for removal of that. Yeah. And then this very serious situation where a business's livelihood. Now, I attempted to make comment about my observation. The University of Wyoming Marion H. Rochelle Gateway Center has a vertical billboard of sorts. It's lighted. It looks very, very similar and has movement from one flag coloration to another flag coloration to, on game days, brown and gold appearance, or last night it was tan, it was a light cream background to the dark silhouette of our proud state bucking horse. And that vertical billboard, if you will, is quite similar, hardly distinguishable from what Lamar Advertising is proposing as a development to their existing billboards. Now, there was some discussion or debate. It wasn't entirely clear whether the billboards might be, suggested might be larger or smaller than, there seemed to be comments on both sides that it would be smaller and whatnot. But we got a situation where you better pay attention, folks, because we're talking about wanting business. But we seem entirely open with people who campaigned for supporting business growth to put a business out of business. If they could take that property right away and a vote came, it might have been 5-4. It might have been something else. But nine individuals were on first reading. there are 2 additional readings that need to happen on this. As I was reminded by Janine Jordan, city manager, last night, you'll be able to give public comment in the future. And though I was denied the opportunity to finish giving my observations, I made 4 or 5 of 7 that I had prepared through the, it was probably a 45-minute period by Philip Gabathuller from staff recommending denial of this modification. And then the Lamar Advertising representative Megan Getz, attorney with Pence and McMillan, she was given maybe 30 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes of response and opportunity to state their client's position. Lamar Advertising, and they were on. I commend the group, though they didn't speak. They were apparently online, ready to comment as well. But Megan Getz, their representative, was allowed to begin and end without any interruption her presentation with respect to wanting to work with the city.
Yeah.
But we've talked in previous shows about landscaping requirements. Are they pro-business? Are they pro-development or restrictive on development? Unquestionably, there's an effect. What other areas where we've shown willingness or unwillingness to foster growth of housing? Last city council meeting,
the regulations put in place.
Regulations,
now compared to years ago, and how inviting is that for other companies to go? There's contractors out there right now that just flat won't work in Laramie, and why is that? Because it's tough to do.
I had a potential contractor from Cheyenne, Wyoming, that was willing to do the talk shop and speak to their own perspective on Cheyenne business, attitude towards business, and Laramie actions towards business, and didn't proceed with that. Got busy with other things in this one-man band. I didn't make that happen, and maybe I need to revisit that, because it seems to have cropped its head again, where there were a few points that I made. It seems that if the University of Wyoming is allowed this brightly magnificent display signage on the side of their Marion H. Rochelle Gateway Center, magnificent facility. I mean, I remember when it was the U.S. Forest Service,
yeah.
and on the corner there, and
yeah.
and as I photographed, you can see that photograph on the Talk Shop Facebook page. I photographed the brick signage and with backlit lettering, and that display itself is maybe 6 or 8 foot high, and at least a car length, a sedan car length, 8 foot, 10 foot long.
What about the county? Isn't the county putting up signage across the street from the store?
Oh, right there on the courthouse lawn.
Yeah.
There.
There's a proposal for them to put a revolving sign up that would give dates and times for events, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not sure
along Grand, there's already precedent in the University of Wyoming.
Yeah.
Billboard. It's a billboard for Wyoming. It's a billboard for all of us. But Studio City and the University Plaza have maybe a 5 foot by 5 foot pedestal. A much smaller billboard, but it has movement. It has lights changing. It has a scrolling. The movie theater can scroll the movies or the announcements. Brown and Gold outlet across from Papa Murphy's, and YO's location on Grand has their scrolling tape
Yeah.
deal. Now, they're all smaller than the 5 billboards owned by Lamar Advertising.
Yeah.
But I was highly concerned that it seems it could be arbitrary and capricious if they deny Lamar Advertising or any business their due consideration, similarly to the University of Wyoming or any other entity in Laramie that already exists. And I would say that those billboards atop businesses or on elevated poles or what have you, I would say that those probably preceded the new construction of the University of Wyoming Marion H. Rochelle Gateway Center, and that is a huge, vibrant, bright display. And some would argue, the conversation came up, this is light pollution, distracting drivers. Well, you're gonna have a tough time showing that that's not an arbitrary distinction, capricious against somebody who wants to upgrade what they already have.
Yeah.
Given what's been allowed by the University of Wyoming, you take a look at the high elevated signage and the size and the vibrant lighting of YO Federal Credit Union. As you go downtown from the Walmart direction, you go 30th Street to 1st Street in direction, east to west, and you look up on the top edge of that YO location, you see the building width of that structure represented by the wide YO logo and name. And then from the distance, I would say, given the distance from ground level to that elevated position, you probably have an arguable display that is non-conforming also, but it's not named such. Now, why is that? Is it justified or is it not justified? My public comment was only to really point out the concern that I had that if they did vote against Lamar Advertising, in this case, a modification requested application, they might be deemed arbitrary and capricious. I also commended one consideration was on content. Do we govern content of signage? Well, I'm sure there's some call for review of decency or maybe some standards or something like that. But another one came up, and I raised concern about it. It was my one of my 3 points that I did succeed in making, and that was that it's not City Council's job, in my view, to regulate the price of cheeseburgers in our community. Now, that's my personal view. That is not the view of this station or its organizational administration or any financial supporters. I wouldn't expect the UPS store at 514 Grand Avenue to advocate that what Eric said was their position. Let them state for themselves what their positions are individually, if they choose to do so. I made the attempt to try to point out that I don't expect you to set rates on how much a billboard is going to cost in the city limits.
Yeah.
I don't expect the city to even concern itself with that economic. Let free market determine what the capitalistic attainment of revenue might be for anything. It's up to Lamar Advertising to sell it. It's up to vendors or organizations or public to navigate affordability in a community. It's not the place of city council, in my mind, to legislate or administrate rates in that regard.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't even care for it in taxi cab rating, and allowances and that type of thing. I don't. It's not like a utility where you have to have it as a fundamental factor of living in the community.
Yeah.
But those were three important thoughts that I had. I shared one and a half more, and you can see that at the end of that streamed recorded video last night. And I hope I can influence people to pay attention. Last night they talked about a 15.79 acre parcel that's fully enclosed by the city of Laramie. Now, this is also known as W Hill. And that property has a home that was built on the top. That's county property. And it's a 9-0 vote by city council current to annex that into the city. And it seems that the county commissioners and the city are in alignment that this is the proper thing to do. And in that case, we'll have 15.79 acres that'll be new addition for homes to be built or development. And I commend the city and the county for any collaboration that they do with regard to that. It also brings the question, how does that come to be? How does it come to be that as you're looking to annex around something and landlock, have it annexed with city designation versus county designation, who lacked the foresight to see that a problem many years ago? And unfortunately, some of the most experienced on the council, Joe Shumway, didn't speak exactly to that history. May have preceded even Joe Shumway and his experience on the board or on the city council. So I don't know, but this is the Talk Shop. You're listening to this at the support of community partners like, gosh, we can't do this show or operate this radio station without the support of Chano's Village. We can't do it without the UPS store. We can't do it without Perkins Restaurant and Bakery, Trunk or Treat Laramie, or the Benton Rusty in historic downtown Laramie, or H&R Block. H&R Block reminding you it's tax season, everybody. Tax season. Kevin, any thoughts as we are 3 minutes past 7 this show?
Well, yeah, a lot of thoughts. If you take a 40,000 foot view of what's going on, and you look back at the day-to-day operations of everything, people are starting to ask more and more questions. That's a good thing. What has been happening to us, the people, over the course of the last 100 years, and how everything is developed, how our money's been taken from us, how more and more obstacles are put in place to build, to work, to do whatever. There's a learning curve that's going on right now, and it's interesting for me to sit back and watch the learning curve and watch what's going on. I think the future of our country is going to change a lot. I think the people are getting going to have more say-so, and I think more and more people are getting involved in the day-to-day. That hasn't come from mainstream media. It's come from people learning and hearing and getting things um, off their phones, X and everything else, to spark questions of why and where and how. This year is going to be different. Maybe good, maybe some really rough times, but change is always tough. And in order to do it, you have to have a strong head, strong will, and be open to what's going on. Don't be critical of everything, but think through it, and remind yourself that sometimes evolution is hard. If it was easy, we'd keep doing the same mundane. But in order for us to have a world that works together, a country, a state, a county, everything needs to be checks and balance. So what's going on now? How long is it going to take before Wyoming has the Dodge program or something like it to look at their numbers, to be responsible with our money, to be responsible with government, the judicial system, everything. We're not that far out, and it'll be. I think it's going to be a great year to live and to see how things go. There's a lot of change happening, not just with the government, but with the society and the people, and that's a big deal. All it's doing is bringing us together closer and closer, and it's slow and it's hard, but humanity is changing. People are changing. The same old deal isn't going to work anymore, and that's the best part of where we're at. So that's what excites me about getting up in the morning and seeing what's going on and being a part of it. So that's cool. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing for everybody, and our lives are changing. So that's the note that I want to leave. Give more love out and care about your neighbors, because they're going to be here for the future. So that's where I'm at.
Kevin Cox, thank you for joining Studio 255 this morning, and each and every Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. hour, as we talk about the Cowboy Code and its influence on our community. And want to remind everybody, one text in, 15 days till spring.
Whoa!
I love it. I'm ready. We need some more moisture.
Spring storms. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought.
Spring storms.